comic books, movies, TV, and more. Nerds are everywhere. It's time to assemble! It's Nerds United.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Nerds United on YouTube. I'm your host. My name is Greg Mahachko. Joining me as always, the co-host of the year, Mike Luther. Hi, Mike.
Hello, good sir.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm surviving. It's going to be getting a little colder now. I thought winter was over with, or we were on the back end of winter, but apparently not. So,
well, you know why?
Because Puxatawny Phil had to see a shadow, or didn't see a shadow, or whatever the thing was. I don't remember.
Saw his shadow and went back in.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how it works under normal. Like, I don't care about the groundhog. You know, like the most memorable thing about the Groundhog's Day is the movie. And
Yes.
I don't know how they determine if the groundhog saw his shadow and was afraid. That's very
I never
random.
remember. Yeah.
But, you know, like this year, I don't know if you watched the video, but they had two scrolls. And, you know, whichever scroll he went to on the little stump platform thing, that's the one that, and I'm pretty sure that they just had it in their mind. I never saw Phil move. You know, it looked like a Bam Margera's dad or stepdad Phil. You know, he's like big and fat and he ain't moving. You know.
Yeah.
I think may he rest in peace. I don't know. I'm sure one of our viewers will tell me if I was uncouth there. But you know, they just picked up a scroll and, well, he saw his shadow and got scared. And 6 more weeks of winter. I said, you don't know that.
Well, let's hope spring comes soon, and hopefully when spring comes, it's warm. I hate cold weather.
65 degrees.
Yes, that's fine for spring.
I'd be happy in a climate that was 65 to 75 and rain like 2 days a week, but not back-to-back days.
I'm good with that up until my mom opens her pool, and then I want like 90 plus degrees.
I have come to the conclusion, Mike, and I know you're a little bit older than me, but I feel older than you, and I'll tell you why. I have come to the conclusion, and my wife and I disagree on this, by the way, but I'm at the age where a hot tub sounds more inviting than a pool.
That's understandable. Yeah.
You know, got the knee and the back, and they just want to soak.
I totally understand. Yeah, that's my whole body.
So, I don't know. I'm sure that, you know, a year ago, a year and a half ago, I guess, when I was driving the truck and, you know, working out in the 90 plus degree heat, and I would have loved nothing more than to come home, you know, fall into the pool and cool off. But now, yeah. I just want to soak in a hot tub, drink a beer.
Yeah, I would love a hot tub or a bathtub big enough for me.
I don't have one of those either.
Yeah. So.
You know, if I and I don't, that's why I don't take a bath. You know, I couldn't tell you the last time I took a bath. It was probably 25, 30 something years ago, honestly. If I sit down in our tub right now, I can't sit and extend my legs all the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's there's no relaxation. Anyway, I feel like that's a conversation for another show. Mike, I brought a topic to you earlier today. You sounded positively receptive about it, or you received it positively, I guess is the better way to say it. I want to set the scene a little bit and tell you how we got there, because it involves best friend of the show, Josh. Today, I said goodbye to the vehicle that I've had for 8 years, my pickup truck.
Okay.
When we sat down 8 years ago and signed on the dotted line for the pickup truck, my wife says, "You like this truck? Yeah, should good because you're going to have it for the next 8 to 10 years. Now, I like the truck. It was a fine truck. What I liked most about it was it's been paid off for about 2 years. So that was glorious. But with the amount of miles I put on a vehicle right now with my new job, or 8-month-old job, however you want to look at it, 16 miles to the gallon's just not completely feasible. And I needed something that's going to be able to hold 3 car seats, or at least 2 car seats and a booster. So the Mahachko clan has its second minivan.
Okay. How many miles per gallon does a minivan get?
On the highway, as I was bringing it home today, it was over 30.
Okay.
So
perfect.
I was perfectly pleased with it. I had thought at one, and I think, I had thought at one point of just getting a third vehicle, like maybe a hybrid or something that's excellent in fuel economy. But as I got to thinking about that, I still have to get the kids to daycare. Then I have to come home, swap out vehicles, and then go to work. I'm like, you got to insure and have registration on a third vehicle, that you're just driving basically to and from childcare. So I traded in the truck, got a new to me minivan, and I was telling a best friend of the show, Josh, about this, and he says, why would you get a minivan when you could get a full-size van like the A-Team or the Mystery Machine? And my response was, you know what I do, and Josh knows what I do, but I say I can't do my job out of essentially, and I phrased it differently, but out of the back of a panel van. Nobody's going to want to do business with me. He's like, you're not selling candy or giving away candy or whatever, which is true. But it did bring me to, we had a brief conversation about the A-Team. And so our topic this week for Nerds United on YouTube is, like classic TV shows and their contemporary, we'll say, movie, and I stick with specifically movie reboots, like the A-Team, which I believe was a movie in 2010. Don't quote me on that. So did you see the A-Team movie?
Yes,
Liam
I
Neeson,
did.
Rampage Jackson, Bradley Cooper, and that other guy.
Yes, I did. I actually really liked it. In fact, I think I have it on Blu-ray or DVD downstairs. Or I used to. I know I watched it a lot.
Jessica Biel. Almost forgot Jessica Biel.
Yes, she was in it.
Don't want to forget Jessica Biel.
Yeah, I remember because I'm a big UFC fan, or I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I've talked about it a couple times. And that
we have had to schedule recordings around whether or not, like, there would be Friday nights. Mike, I'm feeling tired. I got a headache. Can we record tomorrow? He's like, I got UFC tomorrow night. I said, I'll power through.
Yeah, that was that was when Rampage Jackson was still kind of big, and that was one of his first movies. And I thought he did really good on it. I thought the whole movie was really good. I don't know how well it did box office and stuff like that, but sometimes that doesn't really matter too much to me. I enjoyed it.
The beauty of this particular week's episode is we're not going to look at box office. We're not going to look at critical reception or anything like that. We're just having a discussion, our thoughts on it. Did you watch, be it, most likely in syndication of some sort, but did you ever watch the old A-Team show?
I don't remember watching it at all. Okay. Not one bit of it.
I did.
No.
Both as a child, like kind of like MacGyver. It was a show that my dad watched.
Right.
And then, probably within the last 10 or so years, flipping through and catching on TV Land or something like that. And the premise, obviously they updated the premise a little bit for the movie.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
While certainly they have to up the ante a little bit because it's the 21st century. You have to add a few more explosions. I mean, you have to take that Michael Bay approach, dial down a little bit. But I felt like the movie was, adequate enough. I mean, they had enough twists in there to make you think that this group of, the A-team was, being hosed over and so I thought it was a pretty decent little update.
By more explosions, do you mean that they had to fly a tank? Because I remember that scene in the movie.
Yeah, and they were, if I remember correctly, it was like dropping out of the plane, and they were intending to like launch, like they were guiding it or not aiming, but they were.
They were using the missile, whatever the missile,
the turret,
to like push themselves.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah, and then they dropped down in some lake in like Denmark or Norway or one of the Baltic countries. I feel like it was up north in Northern Europe type of thing. So yeah, that's quite a departure. I don't think you would have seen Mr. T doing that back in the day.
No, but I mean, like I said, I never watched the TV show. Like I maybe have seen clips of it. I remember more of like Family Guy kind of making fun of it. But was there like a cheesy element to it though? The TV show. So yeah. Yeah,
and at the end of every episode, and I know Liam Neeson tried to copy it, and as good as Liam Neeson is, and I'm not, knocking his acting chops or anything like that, but it's very difficult, no matter how good of an actor you are or actors, to replicate an iconic line. Like you could get Morgan Freeman, you could get any Dennis Haysbert, who does like the Allstate commercials, and he was in plenty of movies, but there's only one voice who can deliver the lines of Darth Vader, and even Liam Neeson coming in and biting off the end of a cigar, and I love it when a plan comes together. It doesn't resonate the same, in my opinion, as the original. And again, I'm doing so little research, I don't even have a cast pulled up to tell you that guy's name. I apologize.
It's all right.
Thank you.
I kind of want to really want to check downstairs to see if I do have it, because it's been a while since I've seen it. So
I do have it. And we need to get together, and we'll talk about this on the podcast, but I imagine that there's not much left of your to be read pile. So
it's slimming down, that's for sure.
We'll talk about that on the podcast at jitterymonkey.com after we are done with this Nerds United on YouTube episode. So the A-Team was one that came to mind. Obviously, Josh mentioned the Mystery Machine. And while there has been a Scooby-Doo movie or two, I mean,
lots of them.
Well, as far as live action, I guess you're right. Yeah,
lots of them.
But only two of them were like theatrically released, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard and Sarah. No, who played
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yes,
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And the one that I should know, not Valerie. Who played Velma? Okay. I know she was in Grandma's Boy. She's been in a bunch of other stuff. It's good. I'm again not looking it up, but you know what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to avoid, because Josh also mentions like the Flintstones, but I'm trying to avoid like the animated to live action types of shows. But another one that came to mind in this classic series to contemporary movie was Dukes of Hazzard. It came out, was it 15 years ago maybe, with
at least, yeah,
Sean William Scott and Johnny Knoxville and Jessica Simpson.
Yeah,
and
it might even be longer than 15. But I'm not looking it up. But
2005, so 16. I mean, technically
16. Okay,
15 and a half if it was a summer blockbuster type thing.
Yeah.
Did you? And I didn't. Dukes of Hazzard was a show that my dad had more familiarity with, but I didn't really know much. I mean, I knew the premise, I knew the basics, ins and outs, and the characters, things like that. But I didn't really watch any of that until I was in my early 20s living up in Nebraska, because, when you're sitting in the radio station not doing anything and there's only a couple of channels that come in the studio while you're running a Rockies game or something, you watch some Dukes of Hazzard or something like that. So I didn't have as much affinity for Dukes of Hazzard as I would have had for, even the A-Team, because it's not one that I sat down and, had that nostalgia of sitting and watching with my dad. But did you watch the movie?
I think I've seen it. I don't really remember. Like, in my mind, there's certain clips that are in there, but I don't know if those are just from watching clips or from actually sitting down and watching the movie. Mm-hmm. I think I did watch the movie, but like I said, if you asked me to tell you what the premise was of it, I would have no clue on it.
Basically, it's a couple of guys, a couple of boys who are up to no. Wait, no.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Some good old boys, never meaning no harm. Beats all you ever saw. Been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Orange car, and an unfortunate flag on the roof of the car, which they do point out and address in the movie, which is kind of funny that 16 years ago they were having that, and it's still. I unfortunately still see it even in Southern Illinois, which I don't know if people know their history, but Southern Illinois is not part of the Confederacy ever.
Nobody knows history. That's the thing.
No. If you fly that flag, you clearly don't know history. But I felt like in watching the show, I feel like the show had a lot more just authentic and sincere charm to it, whereas you've got a jackass and Stifler, running around essentially trying to be these good old boys. And, Jessica Simpson, I guess I haven't seen any pictures of her recently, but, certainly 16 years ago was a pretty attractive young lady. But I feel like in the show with the actress who played, Daisy, they didn't like overhype her sexuality, or not sexual, but her attractiveness, if that's the right word. They didn't make that the focus of her sex appeal. That's what it is. Whereas there's a scene in the movie where Jessica Simpson goes into like the sheriff's office or whatever in her Daisy Dukes and a bikini top, and like maybe you couldn't do that in the 70s, or maybe you didn't have to do that in the 70s. I don't know. But there was just, I don't know. I'm also looking at this through the lens of, a 38-year-old who's married with essentially 3 kids, not the 22-year-old that I was when I saw the movie. So maybe it's a little different.
But here's the thing, though. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever seen an episode of Dukes of Hazzard fully. Maybe I've, like I said, clips of them, stuff like that. So I don't even know who this actress is, but whoever the actress is that played Daisy
Duke.
Yeah. Okay. What was she known for besides her sex appeal in the show?
Her name was Catherine Bach.
Okay. What was she known besides sex appeal? Besides being the hot girl in essentially the Daisy Dukes, the short shorts.
I'm looking it up. Get off.
No, I'm saying like if you've seen it and stuff like that. What else was she? Not what else did she play in in the show? What else was she used for? Like was she in the show? Was she like a crime fighter as well? Was she known for being really smart?
Oh, you mean in the show?
In the show, yeah. I'm not saying the actress in real life. I'm saying in the show.
I'm going to read this from Wikipedia again.
Okay.
Grain of salt. Bach heard about the audition for the Dukes of Hazzard through her husband. When she arrived there, she found the producers were looking for a Dolly Parton lookalike. Despite not looking like what they were searching for, she was hired on the spot. One of the earliest costume ideas from the producers was that she wear a tight white turtleneck, go-go boots, and a poodle skirt. but Bach asked if she could bring her own outfit, which was a homemade t-shirt, a pair of cut-off denim shorts, and high heels. She had concerns about the appropriateness of the cut-off shorts at first, saying she could not wear them in a restaurant scene. When prompted by the producers to visit a restaurant across the street, Bach found the waitresses were wearing little miniskirts that matched the tablecloths. She starred in the show. Okay, that didn't say anything about what I thought it was going to be. Oh, here we go. While she was starring on The Dukes of Hazzard, her legs were insured for $1 million.
So exactly, yeah. So just like in the movie, they were both used for their sex appeal. That's it. I'm not saying that's right, and I'm saying both actresses, I can guarantee, have more to offer, but that's what they were used for. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad. I'm not. I'm fine. I'm fine with your response.
Yeah.
And maybe my,
it was wishful thinking.
Okay, so she's still alive. Yeah.
Jessica Simpson is?
No, the gal who played Catherine Bach is still. Good grief. All right, so that's the Dukes of Hazzard. I think given my druthers, I'd prefer the show over the movie. There were a couple that you brought to the table, Mike. A few examples that you had in mind.
Well, the last one I thought of was Addams Family,
and of course that was, that's contemporary in that it was about 25 years maybe after the series.
Yeah. And I kind of remember seeing the series. I mean, obviously not when it aired. When I eventually got cable and saw it like at Nick at Night. I think, you know what? I always get Addams Family and the Munsters mixed up.
Yeah. So Addams Family only ran for 2 seasons. Wow. 1964. It says on IMDb to 66. That's right, folks. Now we're getting to the point where Greg is determined. He's getting answers. You're right. It was, and actually was the same time frame as the Munsters. Munsters were also on from 64 to 66. The Munsters had the Frankenstein's monster. Herman, as the dad, and a vampire mom, and the vampire father-in-law, grandpa, and then the little Eddie Munster was a little wolf boy. Whereas Addams Family, they were just eccentric, I suppose. I don't think there's anything particularly monstrous about them. The movies I think came out the first one in 92.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 92. And
so
maybe 94,
so you're looking at about 30-year difference between the show and the movie, which is probably on par with where they were for some of the other TV shows to movies that we've talked about so far. Do you remember much of the show? Because I don't remember much of the show.
Like I said, I know I've seen it. It was for a lot of these that we're going to mention. I don't remember ever like sitting down to watch them. Like, oh, I have to see this. But it was like it's on, and there is at the time there's no Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, anything like that. We have a limited amount of VHS tapes, so it's like this is on, and I don't want to watch soaps, so I'm gonna watch this kind of thing,
And even before that, kids, let me tell you a little bit about my childhood. You had like 4 or 5 channels, and you had to get up, change the channel on the TV set manually. I remember when I was probably 7, I think, when we got a remote control, and you'd have thought that, we were like Thurston Howell III. I mean, not on the island, but, you would have thought that we were living a high on the hog. It was mind blowing. And I remember to this day, it was, and thankfully this is the video medium so they can see. It was about that narrow and about yay long, and it was gray. And it just had very small buttons on it and power and then like in volume and maybe like channel up, channel down. You couldn't even hit like a back button and go back to, a channel prior. You had to scroll all the way through them all. That didn't last long.
Yeah. But like I said, scrolling all the way through, that didn't take too long. Cause like there was probably legit only 5 channels.
I think that would have come with our first cable box. Like I said, so now we're very late 80s, maybe right around 1990. And so, man, still, obviously nothing like it is today. It was maybe 25, 30 options,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, Addams Family, I can't remember if it was you or best friend of the show, Josh, who mentioned the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
And I'll just say this right now. The Brady Bunch movie pales. It's no comparison, in my opinion, to the Brady Bunch series. That's just me.
Yeah. For that, it's almost the same answer. Like I think I've seen the Brady Bunch movie. And if I remember correctly, they almost purposely did it cheesy. Whereas the show, I don't think the show was cheesy, but it wasn't purposely made that way. It was just,
And the show was in the 70s or late 60s and 70s, and set obviously at that contemporary time. Whereas if I remember correctly, you fast forward 20 or so years to making the movie, and the Brady family is still like stuck in the 70s, right? But they're still in the 90s. Yeah. So that was a very, very unique. Yeah, exactly. They made a Beverly Hillbillies movie too that I don't remember much of, except Deidre Bader was in it, and the guy who played Ernest was Jed.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Jim something. Jim Varney. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah.
So I know he was in it as well. So was it you that mentioned Starsky and Hutch?
Yes.
Okay, so that's, again, I've seen the movie, but I don't remember watching that show at all.
Yeah, same here.
And you had a string of those movies that had Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson in them, and I'm not taking anything away from either actor individually, but I feel like their joint movies are not. I might get some hate for this. I don't care for the Zoolander movie at all, and I've never even seen the second one. I just don't find its appeal.
I can understand that.
I was waiting for you to give me a cross look and smack me through the computer screen, honestly.
No, I mean, it's a certain type of humor, I really like Will Ferrell in Zoolander.
Have we talked about my love-hate with Will Ferrell?
No.
I don't like most Will Ferrell movies. Anytime I feel like he's trying way too hard, so that includes, his role in Zoolander. I'm not a fan of the Talladega Nights. I don't care for Step Brothers. I know.
You, by the way, you just lost all credibility with everybody. The fact that you like Letterkenny, but you don't like Old School or Talladega Nights.
Because I don't consider him Frank the Tank is in Old School, but I don't consider him the focus. It's like Luke Wilson and more Vince Vaughn. So I like Old School. Don't ask me why.
You don't like Step Brothers? Step Brothers is hilarious.
I just feel like it's too, the story is essentially about two grown men who are immature and can't grow up. And, and they still, I'm not casting aspersions or trying not to, but, still living at home with their parents and things like that. And it's like, guys, get your shit together. Get the fuck out the house.
That's the humor of it.
But I just don't find it funny. The Will Ferrell movies that I'm a big fan of are Stranger Than Fiction, which I think I've talked about maybe on the podcast. I highly encourage people to check it out. It's got Dustin Hoffman, Queen Latifah, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and I'm not going to remember her name. A British lady.
Tilda Swinton.
No.
I don't even know if she's British, not to be honest with you.
I think she is, but you know her if you saw her or heard her voice, because I think she's done some voice work for like Disney and things like that as well. But I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And then another one that I really like of his is Everything Must Go, where he's like either going through a divorce or recently divorced, has no place to go, so he's just like put a sign in his now former front yard, and he's just camping out there with the sign that says Everything Must Go, and he's I think he kind of falls in love with somebody else in the time, but he's just sitting out there drinking beer. But it's a more serious picture, and so like those are the Will Ferrell projects that I appreciate more. I still like Elf because I like Christmas movies, but that's
so you like Will Ferrell, the comedic actor, in non-comedic films.
I didn't say it made sense, Mike.
All right.
But I really
hopefully nobody unsubscribes right now from this.
I've seen Talladega Nights twice, and it has probably been close to 15 years since I've seen it, and I'm fine with that. It's not the best. Come on.
All right, we're running out of time here because we always said we were going to keep these YouTube videos 10 minutes. It's never been 10 mints. But
last week was really close.
Yeah, one we had was 21 Jump Street / 22 Jump Street, because they made two films out of it.
I thought they were working on a third one as well, but I don't know about that.
So the rumor was, well, first of all, did you watch 21 or 22 Jump Street?
I've seen the movies, but I don't recall the show at all.
Okay, no, I barely recall the show. Like, that's one of those that I was probably on a couch. There was nothing else on, and I saw little bits of it. But for the end of 22 Jump Street, they make the joke of showing you the trailer kind of for a bunch of them. Like, they had 23 jump. One was like on a boat. One was I can't remember all of them. But there was a rumor that there was going to be a 23 Jump Street / Men in Black crossover.
Heard about that.
And when the Sony emails leaked, apparently it was at least talked about. I forgot if it was Jonah Hill or somebody had sent an email in, or a Sony exec had sent an email to him, or they're sending one back and forth. I think it's completely dead now. But yeah, and I think part of it's completely dead because I think MIB International, the one with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, didn't do too well. In fact, I bought it and I have not watched it.
I've not seen it. I think I can watch it on HBO Max, but I'm not sure.
Probably. That makes sense. But 2021 and 22 Jump Street, as far as the movie goes, it was pretty good because it essentially made fun of reboots. Like 21 Jump Street made fun of reboots, and 22 Jump Street made fun of sequels. And it was just like one in 22 Jump Street, they're like, just do the same thing. Just whatever you're doing, just because they're like, it's the same mission. Just do the same thing.
Now, I think the benefit to those movies were their writing team, and I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, so I'm going to rephrase. Their directors were Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who also, I believe, did Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, I know they did the Lego movie.
And the Lego movie, yeah. So they were, as far as a visionary duo, able to get the most out of the screenplay. And again, in fairness of trying to do this to the best of my ability. Story was by Michael Bacall and Jonah Hill. So one of the stars of the movie had so story by Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Brie Larson, Dave Franco, Rob Riggle, Ice Cube, all in the movie. I remember this horrible on me, but I remember Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. So again, it's a movie that I saw once, shortly after it came out on DVD, and it was fine, and I enjoyed it, and I laughed, and but I didn't have the desire to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times. If I like this, also I believe I have them downstairs. It was I remember thinking, wow, Channing Tatum is surprisingly funny.
That's the thing. He is really difficult to hate,
Yeah.
because everything you hear about the guy, I mean, like, he's try to figure out how to phrase this that has as much crossover appeal as possible. He's like the John Cena of Hollywood. I mean, he, like, some of the smart mark, fans might not like him or something like that, but he seems like he goes out of his way to, do things for the fans. Seems like he's charming as can be. And given the right situation and obviously the right script, he's, he can be, funny and, irreverent and a little maybe even self-deprecating. But it's not all, like I've seen, not by choice, but I've seen some of his more like not even romantic comedy, but like, the chick flick types of movies. And, they put me to sleep, but, he helped him put a lot of money in the bank. So more power to him, I suppose.
Agreed.
Not like that good for nothing Will Ferrell. No, I'm kidding. All right, so there's one more that I want to talk about before we get out of here, because I think it'll surprise some people.
Okay.
Are you familiar with a little show from the 90s that had, I don't know if it had crossover appeal, but it was certainly globally known, about men and women running on the beaches? A little show known as Baywatch. Are you familiar with that one, Mike? Did you ever catch that in your youth?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So a few years ago, they made a movie called Baywatch. And you know it was going to be good when Dwayne Johnson is out front on the project. 2017 is when the movie came out. The Rock plays Mitch Buchanan. He also had Zac Efron in the movie. Alexandria Daddario, if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. Anyway, you saw the show back in the day, and maybe more recently, I don't know. Did you ever see the movie?
Oh yeah. Movie. I didn't see the movie in theaters.
Same.
And so it was actually, at first I might have allegedly tried to
Nope,
download.
Say no more.
Yeah, but it didn't work. So it really didn't. And then so I had to wait till it came on, not a streaming service, but maybe like Voodoo or something. I can't remember. But it came on something, and I watched it, and yeah, I was I liked it.
I caught it on Hulu.
Okay.
And I was like, I honestly, not to sound like weird, but it was at bedtime, so I'm laying in bed, I'm flipping through, I'm like, my wife's still awake. So I was like, I'm just going to throw on Baywatch. I can't imagine, that either one of us are going to, it's going to catch our attention enough to keep us awake. Some bitch, we're both sitting in there at times, we're laughing our asses off and or quietly, because our son's asleep down the hall. And we stayed up and watched that whole movie. Honestly, yeah, that might be the last movie that we saw by ourselves. But it was a purely enjoyable. Like, look, it's not it's not Citizen Kane. It's not anything that's going to win Academy Awards or any award, likely, except for maybe like MTV Movie Award or something like that, with most muscles running on the beach. And that.
Although speaking of muscles, I mean, obviously The Rock is always jacked, but Zac Efron got super jacked in that one.
Yeah. I don't know what they do, but I wish that their trainer would donate his time to me. Trainer and nutritionist.
Okay. I'll tell you exactly what they do. First of all, they do have a trainer. They do have a nutritionist, and they all do steroids.
That's not true.
No, they 100% do.
Dwayne Johnson is clean.
Nope, not at all.
Do you remember? This is off topic of Baywatch, but it's on topic for Dwayne Johnson. Do you remember how jacked he got for that Hercules movie a few years ago?
Yes.
That was insane.
Yeah. You look. I mean, he's always been a big guy, But you look at some of his past movies, like, well, even when he first started in the WWE. Let's talk about that.
He was not
big,
as cut,
no doubt. No.
But I mean, he also played college football. Like, he played D1 college football. Yeah. So he had that athletic advantage, know. But yeah, so he was big. I feel like he was bigger in the rundown and walking tall than he was in Scorpion King.
Yeah.
But he was never as massive as he was for that Hercules movie, in my opinion. And I'm interested to see what he's going to look like, bringing it, full circle and talking about comic book stuff. As I'm interested to see what this is going to sound weird, and I apologize, but I'm interested to see what his body looks like in Black Adam.
So he puts stuff on Instagram because he dude works out a lot. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not just the steroids that are making him big. He works out a ton. All right. He's a hard worker.
Some trouble.
There's no way he can deny doing steroids. He does them. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I would, if I could do them, I would. I can't afford it though. But he was putting stuff on Instagram about, I'm getting ready for Black Adam and stuff like that. And he's already huge and he's working out more. I want to be like, dude, stop. You have to be just as big as Shazam. You're there already. You're gonna be like 100 pounds bigger than whatever his name is.
Levi?
Yeah, Zachary Levi that plays Shazam.
Which, by the way, we recently rewatched Chuck in our house. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun. Still holds up. We laugh a lot. Now we're watching Psych.
Ah, nice.
Did you ever watch Psych, Mike?
No, but this is going to be like a 45-minute YouTube video.
I really wanted to like live stream, somehow do a live stream and put this on Facebook at the same time, but I forgot. So this has been a really fun, very long episode. So we hope that you've enjoyed it. I've had other podcasts make longer videos for YouTube and people still watch them. So why not? We'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Let us know. I know there was one that I mentioned or to Mike before the show that almost neglected to mention here, but it's another Will Ferrell movie, and it's Bewitched. Never saw the movie Bewitched with Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman. I did enjoy the show, growing up watching it in syndication. So what classic, shows to movie reboots did we miss? Or maybe feel free to shit on my opinions on Will Ferrell. I'm bracing myself for the hate, but hey, as Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash. So let's see it. So that'll do it for this episode of Nerds United on YouTube. Thank you so much. If you made it all this way, you deserve a prize of some sort. I don't have any more to give out, but you deserve one. Just know that. Golden sticker for you. So for the co-host of the year, Mike Luther, I'm Greg Mahochko. We're Nerds United on YouTube, reminding you this week and every week to be kind.
And rewind.